Keegan and Company. It's Keegan and Company, the company you keep. That's it. That's got to be it. Welcome back to the Keegan and Company podcast. For those who are new to the show, my name is Keegan Hipgrave. If you haven't already, if I could get you to jump over to whatever platform you listen to this podcast on, give us a little like and subscribe. It does help the podcast grow and it does go a really long way. Now, in this episode, I'm joined by one of the greats, current owner and founder of ACTV Gym. He's also got a lot of cafes and restaurants going on with Kami and Magnoli Lane, as well as the Gentleman Skin Routine, which I'm really keen to chat about. Anthony Bartolo, how are you, my brother?
Yeah, good, mate. How are you?
I'm good, mate. Mate, we won the morning this morning.
We did, didn't we? Ripped in, a little workout.
Yeah. We went into active. We were just saying before jumping on the pod, like the crew that we had there this morning was unreal.
Yeah, it's epic, man. And I think most mornings the crew's epic in there. There's that real no ego, trying to really a good crowd of a community trying to help each other out.
That's what it's
all about.
Bro, that was my favorite thing about like coming back to the coast and obviously like pop into a fair few gyms, and yours is probably like one of my favorites because there's no, like we were saying before, like there's no dickheads. There's no one trying to outlift each other. It's always just like good crew, just purely enjoying it, hey?
Yeah, it is, man. And I'm so proud that that's what we've built. And we've built that across all 4 of our studios. And that means a lot to me because community and having that no ego and that coming from the top, it filters down, you 100%. Know what I mean? So if I went in there and I was egotistical, I'm probably going to attract dickheads.
Yeah.
But having that thing where we accept everybody and help everybody. You can come in as a beginner and advance all the way through, or you can be advanced and still get a great workout. So that's what I love about it.
Where, mate, you're struggling with a few injuries at the moment. I was hoping that we could have a lift this morning, but I was trying to pull you in.
Yeah, it's probably one of those things, Keys. You probably look after yourself last. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've been like that my whole life. So time to get a few things sorted. Got an ACL injury and a torn bicep tendon. So. Not a very good combo. My whole right side is gone.
Oh, brother. Mate, I really want to touch on like the story of Active and how we got into it. But before that, your cafe, Magnoli Lane.
Magnoli
Lane.
Yep.
Out the front on the wall, you've got what are you grateful for?
Yeah.
So I think it would be fitting if we start the podcast with, mate, what are 2 things that you're grateful for?
Mate, at the moment, I'm really grateful for my family. My little fella, he's 4 years old and he's just a bundle of joy.
Yeah.
He actually, little side note here, this morning I left my pre-workout on the bench.
No way.
Mate.
Did you get into it?
Well, the missus before she rung me and goes, he showed me his finger and he just had a little bit and he's running around I've left her he's running around like a little animal at the moment. But anyway, that's a bit of a side note. I just had enough.
Your genetics as well. I imagine he'd be running around.
Oh mate, he is. He's full on, but a good full on.
Yeah,
he's such a kind little kid. And look, really grateful for where I am with my family at the moment. And just being able to play with Ollie. We're about to go to Yamba for the weekend, man. So I can't wait. I can't wait for that.
Can I tell you what I'm grateful for afterwards?
Yeah.
Have you got your
more? Number 2.
Yeah.
Number 2 is the team around me at the moment. Look, Active's growing. We've got multiple businesses, and just having team players that allow me to be able to go away for the weekend is something else I'm really grateful for.
Well, mate, that's obviously like a credit to you and the culture and community that you've built around Active. Yeah. Matt, I want to tell you what I'm grateful for.
Hit me.
I'm grateful to be back on the coast.
Yeah.
First and foremost, I love coming back here. And secondly, the crew this morning. Yeah. But also, I'm grateful for you, brother. I'm grateful to have you in my life. I was driving after doing the sesh this morning. We did the sesh. We had a mad crew. Like we had Ed from Alfred's, Kalen Pong is down here for the weekend, Shawnee Huds, Caleb Ando, Shane Wright, who's playing overseas, and then obviously I'm forgetting so many other crew. But we had such an amazing crew this morning, and then we went for a swim, went for a coffee, and then mate, that's all like pretty much off the back of you, and then. Anytime, like when I come to the Gold Coast, you're obviously one of the first people that I want to catch up with. And every time we catch up, it's like, you give me so much energy. It's like, I don't know what it is. It's like you're always smiling, you give out good energy. And I was talking to Ali the other day, because usually when I have people on, I usually like call some friends and family of them just to get like a little bit of background. Obviously know you very well, but like from another party.
Yeah.
And
Ali would have had bad things to
yeah,
say,
he
sure.
said, mate, he also mentioned, he's like, yeah, Barts always used to follow my fashion sense. Like he was rolling, he's like,
He rolls with that all the time, mate. That's all he's got on me.
He's like, he used to roll around with a 3/4 rip curl. But what is it now? After hanging out with me, he's wearing Lululemon.
Yeah, he's pretty bang on, man. He's pretty bang on.
But mate, the things that we both sort of agreed upon was just like your interpersonal skills and your ability to be able to communicate and converse with the most wide variety and various people from like, I could leave you with my grandma and granddad and you could yarn to them for an hour or a little kid or even just the boys. Like you're so great and you give such great energy. So brother, thank you. I'm very grateful for you.
Jeez, I'm going to walk out here with a big head key.
Yeah.
But I guess, that just comes from, I genuinely love people, man. And I love helping people too. So I'm very lucky that I've found some niches in life that allow me to live my passion every single day. And that's where I get the energy from, I guess. When you do something you love, you've got heaps of energy to give. If I'm a sparky by trade, if I was still on the tools and kicking stones around site, you know what I mean, I probably wouldn't have that energy. So having the balls to go off and do some things in the business world and things that I was passionate about is probably why I'm here today. You know what I mean? Gives me that energy daily.
1,000%. I want to touch on the transition that you had from Sparky to business owner with Active, with Kami, with Magnoli, with all your businesses. What did it look like coming out of school? Because you were a Mackay boy, So what was that transition from working Mackay to now?
Yeah, so I guess I left Mackay straight after school.
Yes.
So literally the day after school, me and a bloke called Slassy Birdie, and you might have ran into Sal a few times. He had a couple of runs at the Titans. We moved down here just to have a little crack at footy. He went on to good things, and I ended up playing park footy. But the gist of that was just having some good people around me when we moved down was really important. I looked up to Sal so much.
Was he a bit older than you?
No, we're same age, yeah. So, but Sal was always very switched on, you know what I mean? I was a little bit of a rat bag. So having him as sort of a guide down here helped me so much. And it comes back to that mateship thing. You are a reflection of who you hang around, and not having those good influences early on, who knows where I would have been. But I'm so grateful to have those people in my life that got me through. Mackay was tough, man. Like it wasn't. I had a great upbringing, but absolute packed household.
Yeah.
And for me, it was just as soon as I finished school, I knew I had to get down here.
You needed to get out.
Yeah. If I didn't, I think I would have got held back a little bit, so to speak.
What do you mean by packed household? Just like
I guess we grew up in it was a 3-bedroom home and 7 kids in there as well.
Wow.
So she was pretty packed. My parents had 5 biological children and took on 2 more. Soul of the earth sort of people, really, really caring people. They could have easily just had their 5, but there's a couple. There's always different kids in there, man. Like if we didn't have the 2 boys that lived with us for years, there was always someone else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was just packed, and being a 16-year-old boy sharing a room with 2 other brothers, man, like. You got to go. You know what I mean?
100%.
You got to go.
100%.
So, I moved down here young, and lucky enough, Seagulls got me an apprenticeship as a Sparky. And from there, man, it just I started to get some confidence in life and blossom from there. But that whole transition, it was tough, Keegs. Like it's not easy to believe in yourself and really have the guts to take that step. Yeah. Especially when you're in a trade situation. And maybe even anywhere, but to take that step from being a tradie to a business owner, it's really tough. And in saying all that, it's so rewarding, and it takes a long time. It takes a lot of courage. It didn't happen overnight. It took me 3 or 4 years of thinking I'm more than this. I want to do more. I want to do more. I want to do more before I actually jumped at something.
So you were doing your Sparky. You were you're full-time qualified Sparky. Also playing footy.
Yeah.
Thinking about for 2 or 3 years, like I want to do more. I want to be my own boss, right?
Exactly.
I want to do my own stuff. That was always front of mind.
Yeah. And I mean, I could have went down the route of starting a Sparky business or something like that, but I had this thing pulling at me where I wanted to be around people and I wanted to help people.
That's your bread and butter, right?
That's it, man. Yeah. And not being aligned to that as well. It pulls you down a little bit, you know what I mean? Because you're always thinking, oh, I should be somewhere else. So I think there's so many people probably out there are listening and thinking, I have that feeling of I should be doing something else. And my biggest advice is just do it. You know what I mean? You're not. There's so much emphasis on failure and how bad it is and everything else. And I think that conversation's probably easing a little bit. And I've always had something in my head, and it's you're not your failures, you're not your wins. You are your effort, and I've lived by that. And I swear to God, whatever I do, 110% effort.
Yeah,
and then you can't go wrong. You don't. There's no feeling bad if it fails because you've put that 110% effort in.
Were you ever scared financially?
Yeah,
like at the start, 100%. Taking that step.
Yeah, hugely. And I guess the reasons behind it and what I kept coming to is I'm not doing this for money. Yeah. I'm doing this because I want to fulfill my purpose. And purpose is well more important than money. And it comes 360. When you're doing something you love and are passionate about no end, money will come, man. You'll find a way. And you might have to pivot 1,000 times and you might have 1,000 failures. But if you keep at it and you're passionate about it, I just guarantee it'll come.
That hits so home for me because I like everything that I want to be doing now, I want to be doing for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that it's going to evolve and it's going to change and it might have to pivot, which I'm more than happy to.
Yeah.
But I would much rather be at uni studying psychology full time with no income than be in the mines earning 10 grand a week.
That's it, man. And I think that's the best mindset you can have because you'll find a way to, like I said, and I know it's cliche, but mate, I live the best life. Everything I do, I love.
Yeah.
So I work a lot, but I love what I do. So it's not really work to me. And I say that to people all the time. Like, yes, I work hard and sometimes I can overstep the mark and everything else. But when you wake up and you love it, it's just so easy. Like I'm up at 3:30 every morning and I can't wait to start my day.
I think that's when you know you've got the sweet spot, hey? When you can wake up and you're like, I'm actually genuinely frothing to get out for the day. Yeah. Like even this morning, waking up, I'm like, I'm so pumped, A, to see you, B, to get around the boys and do a sesh, and C, to do this podcast. You know what I mean? Like, and you're someone who I draw so much inspiration from, like yourself, Ali, even just crew who have found, I guess I want to say found their niche, but like are dialed in and working hard at it because like, I feel like, obviously the crew that you hang around, you're more likely to be like those people, right?
Exactly.
So the more time I can spend with you, the more times I can have, these conversations. I'm very lucky and very privileged to be in this position to have these types of conversation in a long podcast format. But I pull so much inspiration from crew like you, yeah?
Yeah, and likewise, mate. I think, again, you attract yourself to people that are very similar to yourself, I think. And if you want to push hard, you'll find those people. And sometimes you'll leave people behind. There's people that I don't catch up with as much as I used to because we just don't align there. You know what I mean? And that's okay. If you've outgrown someone, it's okay.
How do you go with the balance? Because I look at you, like you got Active, who it doesn't just have one location. You're in four locations now with Ashmore, Cooley, Melbourne, Burleigh.
Yep.
And I'm sure there's going to be more to come.
There are more coming.
There are more coming. Kami Restaurant, Magnoli Lane Cafe, the Gentleman Routine, which is still ticking along in the background.
Yep.
How do you go balancing all those four, plus your own investments, plus probably family, which is probably one of the most important things to you. To you,
yeah,
like, that's one of your values.
Exactly right.
How do you juggle that,
mate? Again, you've got to align yourself with people that share your same values and your passion as well. That is probably my biggest tip. I don't invest in an idea, so to speak. I invest in people, and I'm very lucky that I've got people around me that I trust and that have that same work ethic. So when I say that, with the cafes, I can't cook to save myself. With the restaurants, I can't cook, mate. Like, I'm hopeless.
You can pour a beer though.
Yeah, I can pour a beer. I can get on the end of one too. Don't worry about that. But I guess the thing is, if you align yourself with people that you trust and then that have that work ethic, that same drive as you, it takes away a lot of the headaches. So every single business I have business partners that match that passion.
Yeah.
And mate, that's when magic happens. You know what I mean? When you got 2 or 3 people in a room that are energetic, that want the same for the business and have ideas flowing, it takes care of itself.
Because I look at like perfect examples like Joe Vickery in the Cooley Active.
Yeah.
You've got Paris in the Ashmore,
Yeah.
and who's the other business partner?
Brad Leggett in Melbourne.
Yeah, great. And like I look at these guys, and I knew all these guys before you guys got into business together. I've known these guys for years. And I was like, you've just nailed it with the quality of people you've got in, because they're the best crew, right?
That's it, man. They are. I mean, everybody there brings something to the table, and that's what you need to do. If you align yourself with people that don't have passion, don't want to get up in the morning and do their thing, then you're probably not going to get there, unfortunately.
Does that make it easier to go on like a weekend, like you're on a Yamba this weekend? Does that make it easier? And do you book that in? Like I'm thinking practically, because I imagine there'd be a lot of crew, guys and girls, but I'm probably more aiming towards the guys in this situation that overworking.
Yeah,
doing a lot, and like probably struggling to find time for their partner, for their kids. Like that's where my mind goes.
Mate, it's the ultimate seesaw, you know what I mean? And I speak about this a fair bit to people with balance. And if you want something real bad, balance doesn't exist, and it's got to come in ebbs and flows, and you've got to look at it as a seesaw. I'm working on this hard myself at the moment because yes, going to Yamba, I'm excited. I've got people that can look after things while I'm away. But in saying that, this morning, was I ready to go to Yamba? Probably not, because I had a full head of things that I wanted to get done. I will unwind, but it does take me a little bit. So with the seesaw, I believe balance doesn't exist when you're on the way up. Yeah. I believe that
you're happy to work hard. Like if you want to go, exactly right. Go hard. Yeah.
Sometimes it's going to be up here towards your work, and then other times it's going to be families up here. You know what I mean? So there's no balance there. Yeah. Realistically, you've just got to try and walk the line as much as you can. When you're on the way up, man, sometimes stuff goes wrong. You've got a week of work you've got to get through. You've just got to get through it. Yeah. But then you've got to balance the other side out. You can't always be up here. Spend a couple of days with the fam. That's what Yamba's about at the moment. Been a couple of big weeks.
Yeah. Do you have what are your de-stressors?
Yeah,
do you have some tools for that?
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, training is something I've relied on my whole life. Pushing myself is something I'm so passionate about. Like I want to push. Yeah. You know what I mean? Whether it's business, whether it's in the gym, I love pushing myself.
But how do you go when like your body's like when you like how do you like how
I mean,
do you navigate
I guess
that?
The ocean, man. The ocean is the ultimate leveler for me. Yeah. Being around the ocean and completely getting away. I need to get away from the coast. I got back from Burleigh 6 weeks ago. I was there for nearly 2 weeks. Yeah. Completely relaxed, chilled out, didn't think about work. Right. Got back 6 weeks, hard grind, go to Yamba for a long weekend and unwind again just before the Chrissy period, and then go hard again, you know what I mean? So for me, I actually need to get away so that I can't think about things. Yeah. But that's just the way it is.
Mate, I really want to bring up this story. Last time we were, when I came to the coast, we caught up for a very wholesome coffee. We caught up for a very wholesome, and it was great, mate. Like we were like shooting the shit. We were talking about business. We're talking about footy. We'll talk about like transitioning out of footy, which I want to touch on later on. And we were talking about how wholesome we want to be, and how we're like, you know what, we're going to stay off the piss. You know,
this weekend,
this weekend, where me and you we'll stay off the piss. And then we obviously say our goodbyes. And then that night, we both had Burleigh Pavilion ripping in. I'll never forget it. I remember looking at you and you looked at me. And
I felt that guilty. I just poured my heart out saying, oh, look, I'm off the piss. Yeah. And then next minute.
We're just fraud.
But again, that was a little bit of that wasn't planned for me. But again, just get around the boys every now and again, have a beer, and unwind. It's definitely a tool when it's done correctly. You know what I mean? If you're having a beer every night, don't have a beer every night. Try to stay off it a little bit.
I'm trying to pull back, hey.
Yeah.
Not trying. I'm doing a year. I'm going to do a year sober.
Sober?
Yeah, I don't know if I was telling you. Yeah, I was flirting with the idea a lot. Obviously, with my background with concussion.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I was, and when I finished up, the neurologist, I was like, well, what can I do? Like, I can't change the last 8 years, but what can I do going forward? And he's like, what are some practical things I can do? And there's some really great things. And obviously, drinking and, going hard isn't the best thing for your brain health.
Yeah, not.
Fucking Sprites.
Yeah.
So I was just and so I flirted with that idea for ages, and I pulled back heaps. And don't get me wrong, I love having a lash just as much as the next person. I love having a beer. I love having a glass of wine. Like even in this setup, for those who are listening, we're sitting in and not watching. We're sitting in like some leather-bound chairs, like in my parents' living room, taking over mum and dad's living room. And we sat in with Kalen yesterday, did a podcast with him. And he's like, mate, imagine if just having like a bottle of wine, you could just like settle in here and just yarn for hours.
Yeah.
So I love it just as much as the next person. Yeah. But I was like, well, what's going to be great? What's going to be great for my mental health for the next 12 months? And what's like a good little challenge? And I look at doing 12 months off the piss as like a proper challenge.
Yeah, mate, that's a big challenge. It really is. Because when you use it for a bit of a release as well,
100%.
It's you've got to draw down on something.
You have a big 6 weeks. You're in that grind phase. You know what? I'm just going to go pop in a Burleigh. I'll just have a couple beers with the boy. Right. Next thing you know, it's 1, 2 in the morning. And you're like, oh, and then you got head noise the next day. Exactly right. And especially like next year, like I'm really pumped to have like a big year next year. So I was like, well, I'm just going to pull back, dial in, train hard, like still get around the boys. Yeah. Like that was the biggest thing I was probably a little bit nervous about is like being around like a social setting, like tomorrow we're going to lunch at the Tropic, then we're going to Burleigh. I'm gonna do it sober.
That's around. Amazing.
And the guys are like, and I'm at the start, I think I was a little bit nervous for the boys being, oh, why aren't you drinking? Like, why aren't you doing that? Like, come with us. But I feel like if I said, nah, like I'm doing this for a year, like you've got an end date, it's like, I don't know, it kind of takes the sting out of it. And they're like, oh, well, Keegan's just doing what he's doing.
100%, man. And I think the culture's changing a little bit, to be honest. I think 10 years ago, the boys would have given you that much lip for that.
Yes.
But now they're like, oh, good stuff. Like, and almost looking and going, how's he doing that? Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like it's, I want to do that.
Come with me, bro. Yeah. You like come with me. Hey, we're gonna have this chat, and I'll see you at Burleigh tonight.
No, mate. Look, I've flirted with it, but I think I've got a great balance with that at the moment. You know what I mean? I do enjoy a beer once every 6 to 10 weeks. You know what I mean? I'll have a bit of a lash, and then I'm fine. But I'm not coming with you.
That's all right, bro. That's right. And you don't have to. And that's the thing. That's the last guy I want to be, is the guy like, oh fuck, why you drink? Like, come with me. Like, I'll come with you. Like, we had a couple of weddings. Like, we're still knocking it on the head at like 1 a.m, but you just get to drive the crew home.
That's it. And I mean, you've got that sort of personality where you can talk regardless. You know what I mean? And you don't have social anxiety or anything like that. No. So I think that's the big thing and why people do drink. But I mean, you'll smash it, man. Have
you had any times in your life, and feel free, you don't have to talk about it, has there been any times where I guess you've struggled with that kind of substance, or that you've gone in the rabbit hole? Has there been any times that you're comfortable talking about?
Yeah, man. There's absolutely no doubt about that. Like, there's been plenty, Keegs, where I've literally just relied on alcohol for a stress release and not used it for just for social things. You know what I mean? And I still do today, to be honest. Every now and again, when the pressure's high and everything, go out and have a lash, and then you feel shit the next day, you know what I mean? And it doesn't actually help. So, I mean, there's been plenty of times I can think back. I was building some townhouses, working with Active at the time, doing a whole heap of things, and drinking a lot on the weekends just to try and...
Just binging?
Exactly right. Just to try and sustain the pressure. And I was only a young fella, like maybe 10 years ago, and I'm just so lucky that I've got good people around me, my family, and mates that pull you out of those sort of holes.
Is that how you got out of it, you reckon? Well, like, were you aware of it when you were going through it?
Not really, no. Like, I wasn't really, but it's one of those things. I think you just need a wake-up call. You just need somebody to pull you aside and say, hey, you're better than this. And I mean, my wife is extremely good at that. When I am stressed out and she can see that, get away to Yamba or do something wholesome instead of writing yourself off at the pav.
Very smart.
Yeah, very smart.
Mate, I want to touch on, I think one of the biggest things that we have in common is obviously like transitioning out of footy.
Yeah.
I think that's probably something that I really want to talk to you about today. Yeah. And because I know it doesn't discriminate. Yeah. Like, it's for everyone.
Exactly.
And that's something that you speak really well about. I look at guys, like, we've obviously been around the footy field for, since we were little kids, right? Yeah. And both sides, and it doesn't discriminate. Like, I look at a guy like Ryan James, perfect example, like captain of the Gold Coast Titans, beautiful family, beautiful house, successful businesses. Look, like, from the outside looking in, has everything going on. Like, has a perfect snapshot. even he struggles coming out. I struggled coming out. You struggled coming out. And it's not just like professional football players.
Park footy players like myself.
Park footy players who really rely on that community. How did, mate, tell me about your transition.
Yeah,
how
mate,
did you go?
Again, speaking from, I was a park footballer, and I love the game.
Yeah.
I'm an absolute rugby league nerd, man. I love it. I played it since I was 5 years old. Obviously, as a young fellow, we all have aspirations to go on and play NRL, but it doesn't happen for all of us. And footy is such an outlet, and we don't understand it until we finish. You know what I mean? There's so many things about footy that is an outlet. And about being a bloke and coming of age and everything that just helps out so much, I believe. And I'm a big advocate for the game and trying to get as many kids to play it as possible because it's helped me so much in my own life. But playing footy, you're around a community of people, man. And how many teams you're in over the years, you make so many friends.
So many friends,
so many connections.
And you could go years without seeing each other. And then as soon as you see each other, it's like the exact same.
Exactly right. So you've got that community feel. You've also got an outlet where you can go out and you can whack somebody as hard as you like, as long as it's legal these days.
Yes.
And really get that aggression out and get it as what makes you. You know what I mean? Like you just want to get it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's hard to explain to somebody that hasn't played the game, but it's an amazing feeling putting your body on the line for the boys, for the team. You know what I mean? And whether you're playing park footy or NRL, your common goal is to help the team. You put your body on the line. There's no feeling like it, man.
It's that camaraderie, like outlet, right? And the ability to be able to, mate, even like getting the aggression out. Like as weird as that is to say out loud, it's, mate, exact same as you, mate. It's the exact same. It's like you work training for the boys for a week, and then you've got your one day just to get it all out. Exactly
right. And even at training, everything else, the banner that comes along with it, man. There's nothing like it. And then all of a sudden, whether you play park footy, NRL. C grade for the bloody Mackay Moranbah Miners.
Was that you?
No, I was at here with the Chugan Seahawks, mate.
Chugan Seahawks, yeah.
But whether you play, whatever you play, it does hit you because it's been your life, and anybody that loves the game and loves the boys, you sort of feel you definitely get that hit of, geez, I don't know where I belong anymore.
How old were you when you hung them up?
20, I would have been 29. 29, yeah. It's again, it's the same sort of deal, man. I was getting concussed a hell of a lot, and pretty much spoke to a doc, and he said, "Look, give it away. There's no point doing this when you're just playing park footy as well. You know what I mean?" So lots more research has come out these days, but it does worry me a little bit.
What were your symptoms when you were you aware, like just headaches or what?
Yeah, man, like headaches. I probably just headaches, and I don't know, a feeling of anxiety as well, especially when I stopped playing. So, and maybe that was all mixed in, but the headaches and just knowing like that sick feeling. We've all had it, man. When you get knocked out and you just got that sick feeling. Just didn't want to experience that again myself either. You know what I mean? So, look, it does worry me. I think that having all those head knocks will probably catch up with me in the end. But hopefully the medical science improves and it's all good.
Well, one of the biggest things that I got from my neurologist was like the ability, like learning new things. Like that is such a great thing for your brain health, not just with blokes who've had concussions, but for everyone to be able to create new synapses in the brain and new neurological pathways is huge.
It's a great word.
It's so
synapses.
Had Fawzi on the podcast the other day, and mate, he's so like dialed in with like neurotropics and mate, he's the best. But learning new things, and that's why you look at older people in their 70s, 80s, 90s who are still really active switch on because they're learning new things. It's not about doing the same Sudoku every day or doing something that you already know. It's learning a new instrument or it might be learning a new language. And for you, business.
Yeah, exactly right.
How much have you learned in business since you started?
Mate,
right.
It's unquantifiable, to be honest. Like you learn every single day. And the beautiful thing is once you learn and once you think you master something, the market changes. And then you've got to pivot and then you've got to go again. And that's what I love about business, man. I love the the ability to be able to pivot and think and problem solve. I mean, it's amazing. That's what pushed me. That's what drives me.
Yeah.
If the market changes or a new gym comes or a certain area or something like that, bring it on. I love it. Let's pivot. Let's go with it. You know what I mean? Let's problem solve it.
Did you have Ollie when you were like your little bub when you were transitioning out of footy?
Yeah, I think a little bit after.
Okay.
But I was going through like a stage of growth with the business and busy, man. I was really, really busy.
So were you doing active while you were still playing footy?
No.
That came after.
Yeah, that came after.
Okay.
It came after, and I was searching for something. You know what I mean? That after footy, I wasn't doing much. When I was playing footy, I was a sparky, and I mean that's heaps. But also playing footy and feeling like I had my tribe around me. You know what I mean? So you're probably not too inclined to think about feeling out of place because you've got a place. You're playing footy. You're doing your job. Life's good. But as soon as footy got stripped away, they definitely left a hole, and I wanted to fill it. I was like, I need more here. So about 2 or 3 years later, I started the gym.
You were looking for something, and so how long after you finished up footy, whereas like active is going to be the next thing? Like what was the key starter and the key motivator to kick off active?
Yeah, mate. I think again, like I had this feeling in my stomach, and I know other people experience it because I've spoke about it. I didn't feel like I was fulfilling what my life purpose was. I wasn't connecting with people. I wasn't getting the best out of people, and that's where it all felt for me. You know what I mean? And it's still genuine today that I'll take a class and I want to get the best out of people. I really want them to achieve something. I honestly believe within a gym setting, if you can get the best out of someone on those 4 walls, they will then also take that outside those 4 walls.
It's a full compounding effect.
100% it is, man. And I'm very passionate about that. I truly am. If I can get the best out of you in here, you'll achieve out there. And that's my job, and that's why I've been put on this planet. I honestly believe that.
And you partnered with Ali Day. How did that come about?
Yeah, mate. We met through mutual friends. Ali, being a local hero and the best Ironman in the world. I knew a couple of people that knew him, and he was looking for something at that time as well. If you know Ali Day, I mean, there's no man on this planet that pushes himself harder than that guy.
One of the hardest workers, but also one of the most kind, humble, genuine people you'll ever meet.
So humble, and that's what makes him beautiful, man. And I guess our values align there. You know what I mean? I really seen that hunger and that work ethic in him, but I also seen the genuine person that he is, and the kind and caring person that he is. So you can't get much better combo going into a service-based industry, which gyms are. We make people feel good. That's our job, and then having that combination, someone kind and hardworking. You've got a great mix there.
You've got it so dialed in. I love what you said before, that it's top down.
Yeah,
it's it's from you and Ali. Like you've got 2 of the most like genuine, kind, hardworking people. And do you have like core values at Active? Like, do you talk about that?
Yeah, of course, mate. I mean, one of them. I mean, there's so many, but we want to give people the best hour of their day. That is the thing that we sit, and it sits up here. And when we talk about that, our other slogan is the next level. And what does that look like? So are we giving the next level customer service? Are we giving the next level programs? Are we dialed in enough to our clients that if they are going through a hard time, that we can reach out to them and they feel like they can reach out to us? And I think we've got that nailed. And that's what it's all about, man. Someone can walk in there feeling a little bit down, a little bit out, and you pick up on that straight away, instantly. And you go over to them, help them out. It's not even about the workout then. It's about making them feel better, or at least letting them know they've got a community of people here that care about them. And that literally sits at the top. I don't care if somebody walks into Active and they're not feeling their best. I just care about how they leave. And if they leave with a smile on their face, that's all that matters to me, you know what I mean? And yes, our program is top notch. Everything else is top notch. But how are we making people feel? How in their guts and in their hearts are they leaving feeling happy? And that's it's at the top.
That gives me goosebumps, bro. That honestly does, mate, because I can see it. That's why I love training that.
Yeah.
Like, and even this morning, like talking to the boys, they're like, mate, if you follow this program, Mate, it's a solid set.
Yeah.
But you can cater it to everyone. You've got young girls in there, you got older crew in there, you got us young males. Like, you've got everyone in there, and you can accommodate for everyone. And there's such a good crew. So, mate, like, props to you and Ali, like, because it's such an amazing experience, and the ability for you to replicate that in other gyms as well. Like, it's not just Burleigh Gym, it's all of them.
And you touched on it before, man. It comes down to the individual that you bring on. We're not just we are franchising at the moment, but we're not just going to bring on anybody. No. You know what I mean? It really matters to me who we bring on. I'll use Joey Vickery for an example. He loves people the same way, man, and he's passionate about getting the best out of people. It's just you need to get the right people in the right places.
Mate, I'd love to touch on dad life.
Yeah.
Dad life for you, you know. You got young Ollie coming through. You were telling me a story the other week about when your partner was pregnant, and how you were running ultras and how you cooked the chook a little bit.
Just one ultra, mate, with absolutely no training. I guess for me, it sounds weird, and I was excited to have a kid, but it also hit me pretty hard, man. I started thinking about my childhood a little bit, and just making sure that I was, one, financially sound, and I put a lot of pressure on myself through that time. I was like, what sort of dad am I going to be? How's all this going to go? And I was just really put pressure on myself. I was like, am I a good role model? All the rest of it. And at the time, I probably was a great role model, but I just got in my own head so much. And at that stage, I really wanted to push myself. So physically, I needed something to bite into. It's like if I was playing footy, I would have been able to go out and rip out on the weekends, but I wasn't. So I signed up to this run from from Coolangatta Lighthouse to Byron Bay Lighthouse.
Far out.
Yeah, and
how far's that?
70 clicks.
70 Ks?
Yeah, along soft sand and stuff too, man. It wasn't easy.
Jeez, yeah?
Yeah, and I hadn't trained. And at the time as well, I was building townhouses in Brizzy. So I was doing the gym, had townhouses in Brizzy. I was driving around, running around like a maniac, man. I was really, really pushing hard. And I got home one night and I said to Bridget, I got that run in the morning. And she's like, don't do that run. Like, you're corked as it is. You're going to hurt yourself. And I said, no. I'll just get on the start line. I'll just get it done. It wasn't even really a race. It was just get to the finish line. Just finish. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But you're so competitive, hey?
Yeah.
You would have got to that start line and just wanted to rip in.
That's sort of what happened. And I that morning, I had the mindset that I was just going to get it done and really push myself. But I rocked up and there was all these like guys they had like these, I don't know, mad running sunnies on and skins and camel packs and all this. And I rocked up with my Lululemon water bottle, like, with shoes on, obviously.
For a 70K ultra.
Yeah. And I looked around, I thought, you know what? I'll stuff all these nerds. I'm going to have a crack here.
Jeez, I love you, mate. That's you to a T.
Yeah. And I pushed hard, bro. I pushed really hard in the last 10Ks.
Did you keep up with them?
Yeah.
You're keeping up with them?
Yeah. I kept up. And I remember speaking to one bloke at the 50K mark, and he had done a lot of this sort of stuff. He was like, how are you still here? Like, I was about 98 kilos at the time. Like, I was a big boy. And at that time, at the 50K mark, I had about 20 to go. I thought, I've got this. I'm all good. About 15 Ks to go, man. I was in excruciating pain. Like, I'm talking, I can't even explain it.
Would you say that's probably one of the worst pains you've been through?
100%. It felt like every time I took a step, I was getting like these shocks up my legs, and it was really, really painful every step. So you had to force yourself to take a step and know that you were going to be in agony every step. I got it done in the end, and I finished it off, and I didn't think much of it. I woke up the next day, I was sore as fuck, to be honest. I was very, very sore, and the missus said to me, "Oh, of course you're sore. You just ran 70 Ks. You've never run more than 10 in your life."
Yeah.
And then the next day, I was at the gym, and I was in agony, man. My back was killing me, and I'm like, "What's going on?" And one of the nurses said to me, "You better get to the hospital. You might have rhabdo." And I sort of knew what rhabdo was at the time, but I thought, "Nah, no way." Got there, and sitting at the hospital. Everyone's having a bit of a laugh and a joke, and I remember it very distinctly, man. This nurse come down. She looked white as a ghost after they took my bloods. And she's like, we got to get you upstairs, get you on some machines. You're in complete kidney failure.
No way.
Yeah, and I was like, whoa. So what happened was there was so much muscle breakdown in my body that my kidneys couldn't keep up and they just shut down.
What?
Yeah, man. I was in hospital for like 2 weeks. Like, there was one day there that my missus thought I was gone. She thought I was fighting for my life.
What the hell?
Crazy, man. crazy.
But one of the biggest things is that she was pregnant as well.
Exactly. So she would have been. Her mum flew up. I missed my sister's wedding. Like I missed Ali's wedding.
No,
I missed Ali's wedding
No
because I was in
way.
hospital. Yeah. It was pretty loose. Like I remember on the Saturday, I thought so. There was a week after. I thought, I'm really really sick here.
Yeah.
So, it was crazy.
What do you learn from those types of experiences? Did you take any learnings away from that?
Mate, I'd like to say it's a bit of a bullish learning more than anything, you know what I mean? And it is that I honestly believe if I put myself in a situation, I can get to the finish line and I'll beat it, you know what I mean? Like, I do need to look after myself better. That is something that I've always struggled with. I'll push and I'll push and I'll push. I'll always put myself last, but I guess the learning for me is more of a bullish learning of bring it on. You know what I mean? I'll get it done.
Mate, what are you looking forward to? What are you looking forward to coming up? What are the big things coming up for you?
Mate, I'm so entrenched in the active journey at the moment and absolutely loving mentoring the franchisees and putting my own spin on their spin and having these studios pop up left, right and centre and them all thriving. It's amazing. I'm really looking forward to growing active. I'm looking forward to seeing Ollie obviously establish himself at school and that over the next couple of years. He's such an amazing little kid. I just love him to death, man. He's such a kind, caring kid, and to the point where I feel like pulling him aside, saying, "Harden up a little bit." You know what I mean? But he's just such a kind kid. So I can't wait to see him grow up and sort of become a little boy, and then into his early teens. I'm looking forward to that, man. I guess in the short term, I mean that's a bit of a long term thing. Active is where it's at for me, man. I'm loving the journey.
Over the previous years, it's November at the moment. We've done a bit for Movember for recently. Will you do any stuff with them?
Yeah. So we'll not for Movember directly. We'll do what we call the budgie run.
Budgie run, yeah.
And we're pairing up with More Than a Run. So More Than a Run is a pretty big run that they run nationally, but we'll be pairing up with them. I'll be getting some things out on socials in the next couple of days about that stuff. So it means a lot to me, man. Mental health, like it does not discriminate and it can hit you anytime. And I've battled with it myself. And I think Movember really, really hits home to a lot of people. So it does mean a lot to me.
Well, I think that's how we probably originally connected. Yeah, we did a lot of like the Movember chats and stuff like that.
That's it.
And to be honest, like it's such a great way to bring crew together. Like
it is, man.
look at our last couple of years, and that wouldn't have kicked off without Movember and having those chats.
Exactly
You know
right.
what I mean?
Exactly. And it is important to. I think the conversation's changing, man. We're so much more aware of it, but I'm really passionate about if someone is feeling down, yes, having a chat to them, but helping them problem solve too. What is blocking them? You know what I mean? And I think a lot of it for me as a young man was one, confidence and knowing, having that feeling like I need to do more, to a point where if you've got that feeling, you got to jump and you got to do what you think you're going to do.
Were you always confident growing up?
Definitely not, man.
How did? Because I look at you now as probably one of the most confident people.
Yeah, I do believe in myself a lot, and I believe I can be myself authentically. I'm not worried about any of that, and that didn't come easy, man. I reckon my mid-20s, I started to develop a little bit more to be that person. I reckon I was always bravado more than anything, and then once you find out who you are, it
just clicks?
It just clicks, man. And you work out that the more authentic you are, the more authentic things you attract.
Yeah.
So the more people you don't have to lie.
Yeah.
You don't have to lie to, you know what I mean? You don't have to pretend to be anybody. And you attract this crew that really cares for you and your values. So the quicker you can work that out, the better. Come late for me, actually, to be honest. And I am confident now, and I'm 100% comfortable in my own skin, so it works.
Mate, that's beautiful. I think just before we finish up, mate, is there anything that we've missed that you'd like to talk about that's been happening in your life, or is there anything that's I guess been hitting home to you lately that you'd like to discuss?
No, not too much. I guess I think it being Movember and just reaching out to letting anybody out there know to speak up if they are struggling, but just put in the effort. Whatever you're doing, you can't go wrong if you put in the effort. And I said this to you the other day. I've been lucky enough to be successful in a few different things. And I've succeeded in some things that I put 50% effort in and it didn't feel good. And I've failed at things that I put 100% effort in and it felt amazing. You know what I mean? And it's just getting over that fear of failure. I honestly believe that a lot of mental health problems come from procrastination and not doing. If you put in the effort today, it makes tomorrow easier. And if you don't put in the effort today, today's easy. But then you get anxious about things. And I think that's where it's at for society at the moment is get out there and push yourself.
Yeah.
Push the boundaries of what you believe you can be and see where you can take it. Like it's you never know. It's something that Kobe Bryant said when he was mixing it with the big dogs. He was like, did I know that I could be this good? I didn't, but let's fucking have a crack and let's see how we go. And that's it.
I love that so much. I love that so mate. Thank you. Thanks so much for giving up your time this morning. Thanks for letting us roll into the Active Gym, mate. We had a good sesh. We'll have a good couple more sessions over the next couple of days. Mate, you're someone who I genuinely look up to for inspiration, for someone that I love your hardworking nature and just the ability to be genuine and authentic, mate. So, mate, thank you for your time. I've got a lot of love and a lot of respect for you, brother. So thank you.
Likewise, Keeks. Let's go have a beer at the PAF.
You're the best, bro.